Hey guys, welcome to episode 21 of the MotorMarvel Podcast.
Hell yeah.
We had a very exciting podcast last week.
Definitely.
So big shout out to Mitch from Sydney Premium
Probably
Detailing.
one of the best.
That was really fun.
I really enjoyed that.
That was really
Mitch was
fun.
a great special guest.
Well, great special guest. We got to see his shop.
Yep.
Saw a very cool car.
Yeah, 100%.
Very cool car.
Very cool car.
So some exciting things actually happening with Sydney Premium Detailing, but we're not going to say about anything just yet.
Just listen out, watch out.
Listen out. The Cars and Coffee event is in the works at the moment. So
Absolutely.
we are actually looking at, we found a place.
Yep.
We're just trying to finalise a couple other things. So stay tuned for that. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. So make sure, if you guys hear about it, make sure you come.
And we also have that exciting Pride and Joy car.
We got pushed out a little bit.
Yeah.
So hold your horses, it's coming.
It's coming. Other than that, let's thank our sponsors, Hard Hat Watches,
Yep.
Exhaust Notes Australia, and Only Cars.
Keep them going.
And yeah, so big shout out to them. Other than that, guys, let's get on to the news because there's a lot to cover today and some exciting stuff.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, so this is pretty exciting.
Exciting if it all happens.
If it happens.
Yeah.
So we know that Nissan's still heavily in a bad place, right? Struggle streak. But the new CEO, who is a massive car nut, is planning some outrageous things with the company.
Yeah.
Right, bringing back the legendary Sylvia. Nick was saying the GDR.
Yeah, I think you talked the GDR and a few things as well. Yeah.
Which is cool and everything, like Nick just said, but with a company that doesn't have money at the moment, I don't think you could really do such a thing.
Look, I mean, for me, the only thing is, like, they should still have enough that they're tooled up to do it. I.e., they should still have all the manufacturing bits and pieces to be able to make these cars, but they would have to modernise the hell out of them.
What I reckon would be cool is that if I was an Nissan, I'd literally just start from fresh, from like the bottom, get rid of everything, get rid of the X-Trail, get rid of all the cars, and then just go, we're only making Sylvia's, GDRs, and blah, blah, blah.
They got to do something.
They got to do something. They got to do something drastic because they're in.
Yeah.
Look,
They're in trouble.
this is fun and cool and everything, but like you said, it's like,
Is it realistically going to save them?
no, because you got to think about it. They need to be bought out by someone big.
Well, what are they going to do? Start production of the OG Sylvia?
That would be mad. Imagine a modern Sylvia.
A modern one, but that requires a lot of investment.
Yeah, it does.
So you tell me how they're going to function to do that.
Because you've got to find an engine, because Nissan don't have any engines for that at the moment. Where they're going to find a 2-litre, 4-cylinder turbo. Like, and like you said, you can't use an old one. You can't use an old SR20.
No.
Like, not going to happen. No. So, and then you've got to find the chassis. That means you've got to build from ground up.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, they could use the 70.
Yeah, but...
The Z, not the 70, the Z.
Yeah, I get you.
They could use that.
Yeah, the new one.
But then they have to still get an engine.
But even the new one didn't sell that well.
Which is surprising because it's actually a pretty cool car.
It was, but I think there was just so many competitors that kind of outdid it. When I remember having a bit of a squeeze it and be like, ooh. But everyone was like, it's a good car.
I think it was late to the party.
I agree. Late to the party.
Yeah.
And I think they brought out a good car, not a great car.
Because you come late to the party and you've already got the Supra. And we've got a lot of friends that own those.
Every review I read was the Supra just was better. In pretty much everything, nearly.
Yeah. And the Supra is a bit weird at the moment too, because we even spoke about that, is that, guys, the weird thing about the Supra is that they said they're going to discontinue the engine and the whole car itself. But then they've just come out and said they're going to make a V8 one. Because they're
joining the V8.
As everyone knows, the Supra is in the Australian V8 supercars, if you're not from Australia. So what the heck's going on in Toyota? Are they making the Supra or not making the Supra?
Well, I struggle to see, why would you join supercars with a Supra?
Yeah, and then just can it.
And then can the model range. Unless they have some plans.
Unless they have some plans, they're going to make a super car from the Supra and actually make it a V8 and not a...
I doubt it.
Yeah, well...
I doubt it.
But what... I don't know, I'm going to ask you this because your family's been in it, but don't the cars have to be existing? They can't just be...
No. Well, not really.
All right, so Toyota could still have the
They're
Supra.
pretty much just a tube chassis.
We know that. It's no longer homologation like the old days.
Exactly. So realistically, it doesn't... It needs to be a brand.
Yep.
But what else?
Yeah, it's true. It's like one of the electric cars you got on that you put a shell on it.
One of the things I've had a problem with for years with supercars is these cars, now that they're racing around on the track...
They're all the same.
Well, no, you just can't buy one.
Yeah, and they're all the same, but...
Yeah, but you like what used to be fun was they took a Commodore...
Yeah.
and they did crazy stuff with it.
Yep, correct.
To make it a V8 supercar.
Correct.
And so you could walk down to your Holden dealership and you could pretty much buy a V8 supercar, but not right. Like,
Not right, not. But you could. People did it by, I saw back when I was young, a lot of people. This is when V8 supercars were massive. So if you're not from Australia, V8 supercars is like for Americans NASCAR.
Yeah, it's our biggest, highest
thing, and it's awesome. But not like, I'm not gonna say it's crap anymore, but it's just not what it used to be. Because like what I'm saying is, you go back in the day, guys like Nick said would go to Holden or Ford and buy these cars.
People were diehard obsessed,
they're pretty. Look, yes, the build quality wasn't on par with Europeans, and yes, it wasn't as they weren't as refined, but they were cool. They had their own personality.
Yeah.
V8 supercars and Holden and Ford. Do you want to let out Violet?
Yes, I will.
So doggos. Sorry for the interruption, guys. So V8 supercars used to be like people's prides and joys, and they were cool, and they had character because of the sheer stupidity of them. Like, we all knew that they weren't, when you bought a HSV back in the day or a Ford. Ford went through so many. We went FPV, then there was before that Tickford. Anyway, so I'm not going to confuse any people.
Yeah.
But they weren't good around corners.
Oh,
they weren't phenomenal around corners. They were fast in a straight line. They were like an American muscle car, but for Australian roads, and they were all built in Australia, which was cool, which made them awesome, because everyone who was had an Australian, like everyone that had a great Australian pride was just like, I'm buying a Commodore or I'm buying a Ford, and there was this battle.
This is the one Brocky won his last, whatever. 100%.
Like, it was like, I'm a real Aussie, I drive a Holden or a Ford, it was cool. But now, like Nick's saying, but not even...
No, look, we digress a lot.
We are digressing a lot. We were completely off this topic.
To bring that back we were referencing to what they're going to do with the Supra, which we don't know. And then we were talking about the Supra just destroying the new Z, which hasn't really taken much market share at all.
Yeah, the new Z.
Hence why we've then come back to going, what is this going to do?
So moral of the story is, on this topic is, what Nick was saying, it's cool, but how are they going to do it?
Well, and I don't even know if it's going to achieve what they wanted to. Yeah. So I think let's see if this new CEO can bring them back from the brink.
Yeah, they're getting the Focus.
Yeah, well, good. No one cares about the Focus.
I do.
Let's go.
This guy, so he doesn't care about the Ford Focus. All right. So, the Focus is a mad car. Like,
bro, remember the last one was a good one?
The RS.
How long ago was that?
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, but all right, this is where... Okay, hold on.
Cool. Tell me about how good the Ford Focus is.
Let me touch base on this topic. He doesn't understand this.
No, I do.
No, Ford actually, surprisingly, here in Australia, like, if you think about it, the only reason they're surviving... now there's a lot of Ford fans out there. They're like, Ford's great. I'm not saying they're not, but...
It's the Raptor and the Everest, mate.
The only reason they're surviving in Australia is because of the Ranger and the Everest.
Yeah.
That is it.
100%.
They're the only things keeping them going.
Yep.
Which...
What other Ford do you drive? Well, see, really?
Well, they stopped the Fiesta.
Yeah, well, that was shit anyway.
Actually, the last generation, the final generation, it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
It wasn't. No, you're right. The previous generation was a better car.
I was going to say, the previous gen was actually a decent car.
It was a decent car.
The recent one...
Nah, it wasn't that great. Nah. This is upsetting. No, but this is actually upsetting because the Focus, if you go back when we were kids...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though.
It was
When was the last time Focus good? I don't care about it now because I haven't...
Well, in Australia, if you're from England, it was an RS, but when we were showing it was an XR5. Remember we had the XR5s?
We had the XR5.
Then the next generation XR5.
We had the STs. I don't disagree. Ford Focuses have been cool, and we've had some cool varieties. But when was the last good one?
The best one of all has to be the RS, but not the RS, not the all-wheel drive one. That was phenomenal, don't get me wrong.
That was a cool car.
It was the one before that. The two-door.
It was still an RS, wasn't it?
Yep, two-door, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That was the OG one.
The off its stupid wide flared arches, freaking huge. It was awesome. Yeah. That thing, till this day, I still reckon is one of the coolest hot hatches to ever exist.
I agree. Look, credit, 100% agree with you.
I still think this is disappointing.
I'd be more... I get it, you're disappointed, but what I'm trying to say is I don't really care because that was actually, to me, in my mind, so long ago.
You're right. And
if they were still making cool Ford Focuses right now, I'd be like, oh, why are they stopping? They're making cool cars. They're not, bro.
And it's true because when they made the last generation of the ST, you're gonna have to weigh that up between, I'm sorry, I'm going to buy an ST or a Hyundai i30N.
And a lot of hot hatches at the time. If you remember when it came out, the ST, I feel like it was in hot hat territory. Like, there was a lot around at that time.
Yeah, because this last gen came out when the i30N was king.
Well, I feel like we've had i30Ns, we even had A45s, we had RS3s. What else we had?
Yeah, but you wouldn't.
No, but I'm just talking.
I know, but you don't classify the A45 or the RS3 in that category. They're like supercar hot hatches.
How much was the first Focus RS? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, they were pricey, boy.
Mm-hmm. They were like nearly A45 territory. They were about 75 grand from memory. Dude.
Wow, was an A45 under 100 grand at that point?
I bought my first A45 for 83 grand.
Brand new.
Yep.
And now,
now they're over 100.
Now they're as much as an M2.
But back then, right? What? Okay, let's buy a Focus or an A45 for 8 grand more. Anyway, we do digress, but
I get what Nick's getting at on this point. But you can't say that this isn't...
I'm sad for what was.
Heritage, like the history behind that was cool. Like the ST, and remember, Focuses were massive in England. Huge.
Yeah, and look, I still remember growing up and thinking a Focus was a cool car.
Yeah, because you remember you watched Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, James May, and Richard used to be, the Focus, you know what I mean? And the Fiesta, and Jeremy was the same. Like
a lot of history, a lot of heritage behind them.
But but understandable. Like I get where you're coming from now, but it would be cool if it still existed. But they're like you said, there's not really a market for it.
Well, I don't think Ford have kept the market. Ford stopped and let that market go.
Yep.
And Ford focused on Rangers and Everests and other cars. And I think the Focus has been pushed aside and forgotten about for a while. And now it's just dying its natural death.
Well,
see you later.
See you later, Focus.
All right, we have an emerging trend of F1 fans lately, Sal. And so F1 seems to be, I think, taking a big leap forward just in, I guess, dominance as a sport globally. Because I'm finding all sorts of people that I didn't think would be or used to not care about F1. And you've got your Drive to Survives and you've got, a lot of interest now.
And before we touch on this, because I know you want to touch on this, we've been speaking about this.
Yeah.
Big news too. They're going back to V10s apparently.
No, there's talk about it.
No, there is a very strong talk about it.
Yeah, but it's not confirmed. It's very strong talk. I'm yet to see it saying it's going to happen.
It better happen.
I would like it to happen. Because I think we all agree that.
It's so emotional with those engines. Your hair stick up and your spine rattles.
We all agree that. But I think from our point of view, yes, if they can bring that, that's going to be amazing. I think that will increase F1 even further.
Yep.
I think it's already on a pretty good trajectory as a sport. It is engaging a lot of people globally in the sport. And I like it. I think it's doing well.
And this is going to go back to our original podcast, one of our old podcasts, the Tingle.
The Tingle.
The V6s don't give you the tingle.
Agreed, which is why I think it did drop a tad for these last few
When you get that V10, the tingle is surreal.
Yeah, imagine if they've got the following now that they've got, and then they add the tingle.
That V10 is ultimate tingleness.
I think this may add the tingle as well, Sal.
This is actually very exciting.
This is a little tingly.
America is coming to Formula One with Cadillac, which is pretty cool because what this means for Cadillac, and as we all know with Formula One teams, is when they put all that R&D into their Formula One cars, it trickles down into the rest of the cars.
Generally, yep.
So this is exciting, not just having Cadillac in Formula One, but it's
what it's going to do to potential
Cadillac cars
models and stuff coming
in the future. Yep. Will Cadillac become a very, very exciting competitor in the general car market with their muscle cars and potential European competing sedans and all that?
They may end up stepping up and doing maybe some more in the supercar territory.
Correct. That's where we're getting at. So this is quite exciting, and it's going to bring a lot more fan base to the Formula One that it already has. But it's going to bring, because you've got America, and the Americans love patriots there, and they're patriotic as anything, right? Yeah. Which is awesome. They're going to follow that. Obviously, everyone in America is going to go, I'm going for Cadillac.
Yeah, we're on the bandwagon.
Do you know what I mean? And it's going to bring a lot more fans to the sport, and it's just going to build the sport itself.
Imagine if you could have an F1 car that actually sounded like a Cadillac.
Like what? Like a V8? Like a big roaring V8.
V80 beastie Cadillac in an F1 car. Nah. But
we need high revving V10s back.
We do need high revving
V10s.
The tingle. Agreed.
But yeah, this is exciting. So we can't wait for that, and I can't wait for the tingle to return.
All right, Sal. So I reckon Mercedes has just kind of lost the plot in general.
100%.
We've been talking about them on a few podcasts from the beginning, here and there. We talk, what's wrong with the C-Class? Engine. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? We see moving production to China or somewhere. And we're struggling to make sense of a lot of things that have been talked about with Mercedes. And understanding where they're going, what they're doing, what they're trying to achieve. Because a lot of it is confusing, doesn't make a lot of sense. They are chopping, changing, saying, doing, no idea. And then we come and see this. And you and I look at this and just go, what is going on?
I am so heavily disappointed in this. I sent this to Nick as soon as I found this for the podcast to show you guys. And excuse my French, it's just fucking disgusting and absolutely disgraceful to a brand that prided itself in the past to intricate design and craftsmanship 100%. Of interior and in luxury leather and knobs, buttons, everything was like mwah. And look, I get this is electric, right? And I get electric cars have to have tech.
And it's also in a bottom range.
This on the other end is just like, let's just slab. Nick, just show the guys.
All right, so
if you're not watching, I'm sorry, but I can explain to you what's happening. So Mercedes has decided to make the whole dash in the new CLA. Well, we're going to have to go to the image because this guy's playing around.
Let's watch him have a play.
Like, look, it's just screens. The whole thing is a screen. Like, this is the problem with design. And now, we'll just pause this. Oh, wait, here we go. Look. She's playing around with the steering wheel. The only thing that probably has some sort of craftsmanship to it. See, this is the problem, okay? So this is what I'm hating with.
Yeah. You have a problem with this, with pretty much any modern car that's doing this. Sal has a bit of a gripe.
Yeah, the gripe is that we're now prioritizing tech over design. And this is seen, I'm going to go on a freaking huge tangent on here right now.
Sure. But I'm going to give you
2 minutes.
Yeah, like a minute and a half.
All right.
Okay.
Architecture.
Yeah, let's do it.
We go back to the Renaissance period. Pride, joy, making sculptures look like everything was just like, you look at Venice and Florence, it's just beautiful. Italy's mad, shut up. But architecture. Then we look at paintings, right? Ancient art to modern art. With modern art, you see these people jumping across the room, look like a bloody idiot.
Look.
I hate modern art. It's absolutely disgraceful.
That's another tangent.
Another tangent. But then it comes into cars now. Cars are now becoming just big slabs of tech screens, right?
Well, yeah.
No craftsmanship.
No individuality.
No individuality. Now, I'm sorry, you're going to go buy this CLA, which will, for some reason, will be more expensive than the previous generation with less knobs and buttons, which God knows why.
Oh, it'll be probably 115, 120.
Right. Where, I'm sorry, and this is where everyone's like, but everyone's buying Chinese cars. I wonder why. What's the difference between that inside there to a Chinese car that shares the exact same screen, The only thing, guys, that is different, I'm going to get off my chair here, is that badge on the steering wheel.
You know the only thing I do like in this?
What?
One slight thing I like in this is how they've actually changed the knobs on the seat, moving positioning.
What do you mean?
So see over here?
Yeah.
Right, they used to be little squares.
Yeah.
Now it's actually like got a curve.
No, it's still shit.
It's the only thing I'm like, that's a little different and interesting. Besides that,
it's still shit.
The rest of it's shit.
This is the problem. All right,
You've got about 30 seconds left.
Okay, so 30 seconds. Why are we doing this? Like, it's that I'm all for tech. I'm not against that, right? And there's some manufacturers that are doing it really well. And again, we're going to go back to...
It's that mix. Again.
We're going to go to Hyundai. I know we're bandwagons for Hyundai, but Hyundai are doing it well.
Yeah.
Mercedes, BMW aren't doing it too bad.
I think so too. Who was it? Was it Volkswagen? Who was saying the other day they were coming back?
They were coming back.
Volkswagen?
Yeah, Volkswagen.
Yeah, we're saying we're going back from less screens to putting a few more physical buttons and different things back.
I was saying this to you the other day, right? Yeah. With Mitch, right? When we're off camera. You go buy a Bentley these days, it's going to get to a point where you go buy a Bentley and you're no longer going to have that craftsmanship of the dials for the speedometer looking like a Swiss-made watch. It's just going to be a screen. So in your head, you're like, so I've got screens everywhere. I've got awesome leather.
What's the difference? It's the software, right? And even then, what's
the difference? I'm sorry, but like, there's no craftsmanship. There's no attention to detail. We're becoming lazy, and cars are losing their very essence of being an expression of the designer's ideas and passions of why they love cars in the first place.
Time's up. Done. Okay, so Mercedes, no deal.
Yeah, so this...
Poop.
Yeah, he's getting frustrated with the noises from the chair guy.
It's got one job. It's not to be...
Oh, I'm trying to stay in frame, all right? Relax. All right, we're back to But can you just? I'm trying to explain the next topic.
Yeah.
We're back on the hating Mercedes bandwagon
Look,
again.
we don't hate Mercedes.
No, we don't.
We just think they're making some very interesting choices, and we are confused with their direction.
So this is
quite confused.
This is confusing. So they're all saying the new C63 is going to have a V8 in it.
Well, they've gone right. We get it. The old one sucked. Bad decision. Was good. Bad. We're going back to V8, and then they say, yeah, nah.
They've decided not to do a V8 in the C63, which is I reckon back in the day, one of their best-selling AMGs.
Surely it's like
surely was one of their best. Yeah,
but
I know in Australia it was probably.
Maybe they just don't care anymore because they've got their other ranges doing well.
Yeah, but this is sad, and another sad thing which we found out through Mercedes is the A45's discontinued.
I think the whole A class.
Yeah,
I think I think they're getting rid of A class entirely.
Like, why? The A45, like you said, was a great car.
It's obviously just not.
Honestly, the A45 at one point in time was one of the best European hot hatches.
I think it was one of the leading hot hatches to start
a revolution.
Yeah, revolution of hot hatches.
Yep.
Because prior to that, it was just like, you had some cool hatches and you had some cool things, but it was like the first luxury brand doing a high performance, and at the time, it was high performance.
Well, at one point, wasn't it the fastest four-cylinder turbo car in the world?
Yep.
Like, it was nuts.
Yeah, it was silly. And it started, I think, where everyone goes, holy, you can get for 85, 90 grand or whatever it was at the time, a car that'll do 0 to 100 in 4 seconds.
Yeah, and then tune it, and it's ridiculously quick.
And people were just like, what? We're paying 90 grand for a car that can do 0 to 100 in 4 seconds? And it was killing supercars.
Yep.
And I honestly think that started a bit of a hot hat revolution. And I think it also started pushing some bigger manufacturers into going, shit, we need to step up our game here as engine output and capacity and what we're doing with some of these cars because we need to compete.
Correct. And at that time, you had the Holy Trinity, because what happened, originally in that time period is that Audi had the RS3, right, which was phenomenal, 5-cylinder, which sounded insane, right? Mercedes had the A45, and BMW had the glorious M135i, and then the next generation, the M140i, which had a straight six turbo rear-wheel drive hatchback, which is like laws of physics just disregarded. Like putting that in a hot hatch was just like, it's a short wheelbase with rear-wheel drive with a massive straight six at the front. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And that era didn't last long.
No.
Because what happened is BMW phased out the straight six.
Yep.
Audi's still making the RS3, but for how long?
Well, but they stopped hatches and they only did sedans.
Yeah. They've stopped the hatch.
Yeah, they haven't done hatches for years.
The RS3 sedans, the hatch is not made anymore.
No.
I'm sure the RS3 hatch is still being made.
Nope.
No, I'm gonna search that. I don't think that's
cool bullshit. That's fine. When was the last time you saw a new RS3 hatch?
Well, it's just the last generation just got released.
Nope.
I'm gonna follow. Anyways, going back to the topic, and then Mercedes had the A45.
Yep.
But we both agreed on this. The generation out now, the A45, wasn't as good as yours.
No, look, but they changed direction of the A45.
Because yours, what generation was yours?
Mine was the initial generation.
Which is
it was the first one. I think it was 2014, 2015.
And your dad's got
the most recent one.
Yeah, most recent one.
But basically, what I think the difference was, the first initial one I got was a boy racer car.
Yep.
And it was sounded good, and
it made pops and bangs.
And it was awesome. A bit rough and a bit tough.
Yeah.
And then I think they just refined it over the next few models and made it more of a gentleman's sports
daily
car.
driver.
Daily driver. Yeah. Took it from racery boy to more subdued. Maybe they found that was more what the market was looking for. I don't agree, but that's fine. I much preferred my original one.
See, Nick's saying, I don't know what Mercedes is doing. So we've seen the CLA, like previously what I was talking the last topic. Now you got this, and then you got rid of the A4. What are they doing?
I don't think they know what they're doing. Because all the stuff that's coming out is all over the place.
I think they're lost.
I think they are lost. Yeah, I think they had this really good 2030.
Yeah.
All electric. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing that. And they had this big grand plan. And then I think midway through their grand plan, it all went to shit.
Yeah.
And I think they're scrambling.
But you know what's really sad? And this is what's sad, guys, is that, again, you had the Holy Trinity in the sedan range, right? Or the sport car range, where at one point in time, you had the BMW M3.
Yep.
C63.
Yep.
And the RS4.
Yep.
And the only one that's still making one of those is Beamer. And they just get, and I'm not going to say this, I know I'm a BMW fanboy, you're going to hate this, but BMW just keep making it better and better and better.
They are doing a
the
good
M3 and the M4 just keeps getting better and better and better. Looks
what?
might be subjective, but the way the car drives and performs is just getting better.
Yeah, can confirm.
But what's Mercedes got? And what's Audi got? When was the last time you got, think in your head straight away now, what RS4 are you thinking of?
What RS4?
Yeah.
Probably the most recent one, only because I know there's one around the corner.
So me, straight away, I'm thinking RS4 V8. That was the last greatest V8. Greatest RS4 was the V8 manual all-wheel drive.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago.
I can't think of any other good RS4s.
Fair.
So this is sad, and we just don't know what Mercedes is doing. Hopefully, if someone knows, put it in the comments below. We just don't know where Mercedes is going, and it's sad to see a brand that pride itself on such heritage.
Yeah, look, I don't think they know where they're going. I just hope when they go maybe round in a few circles, they come out of it with some good direction.
And hopefully sideways, the traditional way a Mercedes should come out of something like this.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, don't be upset that I proved you wrong, all right? Or Gemra.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong.
No, the RS3 is still getting made in a hatchback
In
form.
a sedan, yeah.
We're going to talk about this now and not start a fisticuff fight over who's right and who's wrong.
He knows I'll win.
Oh, no. Listen. The Ferrari.
Yeah.
Right? The Ferrari.
I don't care about Ferrari.
Yes, you do care about Ferrari. Ferrari's hectic, and we all love Ferrari. No. So this is awesome. Ferrari.
What is it, Sal? Tell me all of it.
So Ferrari's patented a new piston head style. So instead of a circle like that, they're going oval.
Why?
Now, apparently, the reason why they're going oval is for it actually lets a V12 be smaller. So they're not as large. Yep. So in this age where we're downsizing engines.
Yeah. So does that mean you can go smaller literage?
Yeah, so you can go smaller. So the engine,
literage and probably fitted in different shapes too.
Correct. So this is insane, right? So Ferrari hasn't announced production or anything like that, but what they have, they're patented it, right?
It's a bit like when we talked Porsche, right? They've patented it, which means they're talking about it. Whether it comes to fruition again, let's see.
Yeah.
But I'd like to hear about these things because for me, they're at least exciting. So they at least give you a little bit of, okay, maybe they're going to do something.
Yeah, and it means what Ferrari's, why they're doing this is they want the V12 to exist for generations to come, which is awesome. Which, again, so this is why I love Ferrari so much, but we love Porsche too so much.
I don't mind Ferrari though.
Is that Porsche and Ferrari are still trying to make sure their heritage lives on. They're still not giving up.
Look, they're still trying to push boundaries.
Yep.
And they're still looking at engineering things better.
Yep.
And they're still looking at improving and, going somewhere, right? Progression.
What I love about Porsche is that Porsche is trying to work on synthetic fuels. They're still trying to keep their naturally aspirated flat sixes being made. They're pushing. They don't want to be phased out. They want to exist. They want people in the future to enjoy their cars. They want to, and that is what a motoring enthusiast company is about. Should be doing. Ferrari is the same. Whether the other brands are doing that, well, they're not because we haven't seen it. No. Lamborghini's definitely not. We've seen Lamborghini going completely going hybrid. Like now with the new one, you can actually charge it, which is sacrilegious. That's just odd. You're charging a Lamborghini.
A bit strange.
It's a bit strange. Which I don't understand because with a supercar, I understand hybridization of a supercar.
Let's not
but no, just quickly, I need to touch on this. With a supercar, you shouldn't be charging it. No, listen, with a supercar, it should be a hybrid system that you don't need to charge. It's
Go tell Lamborghini that.
You know, like I love it traditionally when Ferrari released the LaFerrari, right? And you had the Holy Trinity at the time with the P1 and the 918. And the 918 and the P1 were proper plug-in hybrids. Yeah. And they asked Ferrari, why aren't you doing it? And Ferrari's response was like, the electric motor is not there for the efficiency. It's there to make the car faster.
Yep, fair enough.
That is just pure Italian. Like, I love that. But they're like, imagine them just sitting there having a coffee. They're like, so Ferrari, why have you put an electric motor with a car? So to save on, to be more efficient, to help the environment. They're like, what are you talking about? This is the environment. Yeah. This is to make the car go faster. Yeah. We don't care about that. Yeah. That's literally what they would be like. They don't care.
Yeah, good job, Italian.
Yeah, but that car's amazing. I love Ferraris.
I haven't said a bad thing about it, mate.
All right. Anyways, this is very, very exciting. Now we're going to move on to the next thing, which is even more exciting. And they're back.
Are they though?
Well,
I've seen this a few times, and I'm like, it says series, but what do they mean by series?
Well, they're saying that Clarkson, Hammond, and May are back
They just left. Come on, guys. This seems like...
I think they're just like, we can't leave.
Nah, I think these guys are done.
They're the best.
I agree. They've been around... when they said they were doing, I'm like, okay, I get it. They have been probably working their absolute asses off.
Yeah.
Like, you watch those episodes, and if you give it any thought to what has to go in to get that...
Yeah.
Holy... Like, these guys...
It's actually a very dangerous job.
Dangerous?
Like, it's not...
Time involved.
Yeah.
Like, they have to put themselves through a lot of shit.
They do.
They have some crappy times as well through the show.
Yep.
It's a laugh for us, but when you think about it, that wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
I get why they were like, we're pretty good and let's wrap the show up.
Well, apparently, so this show...
What are they doing?
It says that May and Richard are going to be pretty much the head honchos,
Yep.
so they're going to be and Jeremy's going to jump in and out.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like what we saw with doing the challenges and all that. I think it's them reminiscing on past...
It says here, Jeremy will be limited to appearances in archival footage.
Yeah.
Which means he's not even going to be in it.
Oh, so it won't even be. So it'll just be James and...
It'll be old footage of him, maybe involved, and they will somehow... I want... Yeah,
Well, Jeremy's completely taking a different approach now. He's fully invested in the farm, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I love he's done a massive 180. Now he's helping the farmers out. Like, a massive shout out to him. He's just doing a phenomenal job trying to help the farmers out and really changed his whole perspective where he originally was and who he was. He's just really done a massive 180. James and Richard are still bloody hilarious. They are still working closely together.
Great TV no matter what.
Yeah.
I guess let's just keep our eye out, see what it is, see what it's about, and it'll be a good watch no matter what, I would say.
Yeah, it's still going to be an entertaining watch. Hopefully we'll get to that point one day.
We can try.
It'll be hilarious. Other than that, guys, that's it for this podcast. Thank you for watching or listening. For more stuff, just go to our YouTube channel, Instagram or TikTok. Other than that, please subscribe and like this video.
Yep.
And we'll catch you on another episode of the MotorMarvel Podcast.
Thanks, guys. Speak soon.